And in order to be great, you got to see it through. And that's just one of the principles that I just feel like that's one of the principles that God created, seeing it through. Right. I mean, you look at Jesus. Jesus basically begged God to don't let him die. Yeah. Like, I mean, he was in the garden, like, and God was like, "I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow after you die. See it through, my boy." He ain't talked to him that night. look, you gotta see it through. Like, you done came all the way down. You done pissed off all these Romans. You finna have to take this, son. Alabala Sabakanai. What I ain't trying to hear all that. You gonna Mama, he did it. Yeah.
Ooh, back up.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Yeah, I'm Jay Leg, and I'm about to go hard on these topics and these discussions. What you mean, boy? My mama food, it be bustin'. What you gonna say about me when I tap out? What you gonna say about me when I rock out? I'm the best out here, and I've been that way, boy. What you mean, boy? My name is Jay. Got it on my shirt. Got it on my head. Boy, 10 toes down, yeah, I stand tall on my back. I meant to say I have my own back. It don't matter. I don't care if it makes sense. Boy, I'm the best ever. What you mean by that, boy? You ain't never. On the track, yep, and we back. Just a Leggett in the back. She looking real clean. Got the brakes twisted and she ain't got no dandruff. She a scandruff. That's a word I made up, but I did it because I wanted to. Yup. I'm finna be serious now. I'm finna go hard. Hold on.
Please and thank you. Oh no, not for that.
Please and thank you. What you mean I'm about to do? Coming around here in my GT wagon. Ooh, that's so cool. That's made of that car. Yeah, I've been here far. Yep, I might have lied. Boy, you finna cry when I spit this track. Yep, I'm back.
This is so painful.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another special rendition of the MamaHeDidIt podcast. I'm your boy Jay Lick, and she,
your girl Jess, aka R. Lean. That's her name. Don't call me that, because you don't know. Did I lag?
We don't know her. You don't know my sister, and you never will.
Dang, that's aggressive.
I'm the best. And she trill. Ooh.
All right. I apologize for the previous sounds you heard before we introduced ourselves.
Jessica, how are you on today? Let me get the banner going. God dang, I'm slacking. How you doing today? How are you doing?
I mean, doing a whole lot better if you brought it down like 2 octaves. But I'm doing pretty good. Sleepy per usual. You
wake up sleepy, and that's why I don't understand.
I definitely do, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good though. I mean, I'm just striving to be better each and every day. Yeah, that's my vibrations. I don't know what y'all vibrations are, but anyway, guys, before we get into the show, make sure you do all the things down below in the ticker. I got it scrolling across the screen. It's real simple instructions. Make sure you download us on all streaming platforms. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. All the places. Leave us a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, because we up.
Very much so.
Episode 50. We up. So make sure you leave us 5-star review on all wherever you're listening to us at, man. Hey, cause we just trying. We don't know who watching this, but we feel like everybody's watching this. I do. And I'm gonna just keep talking to y'all in plurals. It may be one person, but I'm gonna talk in plurality. Because I'm speaking that upon my life and upon this podcast. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, man. We got a good show in store. We just gonna vibe out. I don't know how long this episode gonna be. I'm gonna keep it a book, but we're promising to give y'all something.
Go with the flow.
You know, we shoot these.
The mantra
the day before we post these. We shoot these the day before we post these. I apologize. The last couple of weeks, I've been a little late on a couple of parties. I actually put the wrong time. I put 9 p.m. I should have put 9 a.m. That's my fault. I apologize. So that's why I kind of came out at 5. But anyway, on normal occasions, you can catch us on the Mommy Did It podcast on all streaming platforms at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So that's when you can catch Central Standard Time.
Time zones very much irritate me.
Why? Let's get into it.
It's just because you got to keep up with everybody's location to know what time it is.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm in Eastern right now, so everybody calling me late. So like,
that's hilarious.
I mean, like, bro, I'm ready to go to sleep, and y'all calling me. You thinking it's 10 o'clock at night? No, it's 11.
First off, I ain't
leave me alone.
Really?
I'm speaking in general terms for being.
I'm about to say because first off, I understand time zones. But anyway, guys, what does it take for you to be great? That's the question we're posing today. And we're going to dive into this topic a little bit. Do we have cliff notes? No, but we're going to talk about what it takes to be great. How to become great. How you know when you're great. So Jessica, I'm going to let you go first because I protect Black women.
Yeah, no, it's not that reason at all. It's because you be skating. But
carry on.
So first I have to pose the question, what is it to be great?
Look up the Merriam-Webster. Googleation. Let me.
I was gonna go from a more subjective point of view, but
okay, you can do that while I search the definition.
It shouldn't take you that long. I'll let you read it out. Are you sharing the screen? I feel like I'm lagging. Right. I don't know if it's my side.
You ain't lagging.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna share the screen to everybody in the world. Bow. All right. Define being great. The quality or state of being important, notable, or distinguished. Boom. That's the definition. Let's go and dive into it a little deeper. And we can look up synonyms, antonyms, and all the like if you need it. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen.
Oh.
My apologies. The quality of state of being powerful or intense. That's nice. So that's what it means to be great, everybody. So Jessica, what's the subjective definitive of being great?
You gonna close that ad first? Yeah, but okay. So honestly, when I say from a more subjective standpoint, I mean it's great. Being great or defining greatness is susceptible to each individual. Like some people's great might just be chilling at home on the porch, not doing nothing. That might be great. That might be their version of greatness. Whereas then you have Coco Gauffs, who greatness is just opening.
That's what I'm watching. When you ask me what I was watching, I'm rewatching the match.
I said in 2019 at 19.
No, when you ask me what I'm watching, I'm literally watching the Cokes. I call her Cokes because that's my.
I'm assuming it's the doubles match now.
Her name's Cokes.
Is that this a replay?
Yeah. I just put, I just like to go back and watch film, get a good detailed study on the forehand and backhand. I like to jot down notes about the forehand and backhand.
After watching 2 videos.
And that's how I be great. Now I'm going to tell y'all the true definition of being great now. Here you go. You dive into a craft or an avenue or an adventure and you partake in being the best you can be, right? You know when you're doing your dang
Please drop the exit.
Nope, because I'm a coach right now. You know when you're doing your dang gum best. Let me cut this light on so you can see me. You know when you're doing your dang gum best. And when you're not doing your best, it's impossible to be great. Because dang gum Deion Sanders was in Atlanta, Georgia. Jerry Rice was with the 49ers, and they were battling across time zones, just like you're talking, trying to be great. So what did Deion do? Deion said, I have to wake up earlier just to beat Jerry because he's going to be up at a certain time and I'm going to still be asleep because I'm in a different time zone. That's what it means to be great. I rest my case, Your Honor.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I can't even focus when you be talking like that. But Where was I? You like kind of.
I'm just saying, like to me, in order to be great, you gotta tap into something, right? I lagged out. My
So
bad.
you think it's the?
In order to be,
Oh, I heard you.
that's me. That was me. In order to be great, you gotta tap into something. And I feel like every okay, this is how I define being great, right? So when I was never a good test taker in school. Just never was. I just couldn't. But when I tried my hardest to study, like I put it all, I left it on the paper, as the teachers, as the people say. I left it on the court. I left it all out there, bro. And I still failed. It's like that's the best I can do. But if I feel like I got something left in the tank, I wasn't trying to be great. I was trying to just pass. I was just trying to get a A. I wasn't
Just
trying to
trying
get
to
an
get
A plus.
minimal effort.
Right. And so I feel like in order to be great in anything, that's what it takes. And being great to me, and me and Kyle was talking about this yesterday, I feel like being great is it's different in different fields, right? I feel like being great at sport, like Coco Golf, being great at tennis, it takes a different level of work, determination, different mindset versus being a great person or being a great Christian or being a great husband or wife, a boyfriend, a daughter, a son, uncle, a nephew, a niece, and auntie. It's the roles require a different thing to tap into.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when we define being great, I feel like it is the aura and the essence of being great is the same, but I feel like the attributes of greatness change depending on what you're trying to be great at. That makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Like, okay, so what about the flip side? Like they how people say like you can only be great at one thing, but you can be good at a lot of things. What's the like which one you picking? Would you rather be good at a lot of things or be great at one specific thing?
It depends on what that one thing is. Like I can be a good person and still be great at being a bad one.
Great at being a bad wood.
Okay, let me see this. I could be a good person outside of my house and then get home and be great. Or I could be a great stranger to people. I could be great at work and get home and be mid. That's why I say I don't know. It depends on what I'm trying to be good at. Like I can be good at
Yeah.
being home, but which one do I prefer?
Well, I guess I'm referring to like career
Are you talking
situations.
about
Like,
like you
like you
talking
would
about
be.
like the saying like a master of what is it? Master of none is really not a master of one. Something like that.
Yeah, I think I don't know the exact quote, but
I'm gonna
that was
search
what
it.
I was, kind of going for.
A master, a master.
It's like a master of many is a master of none, or something, or a master of.
They say a jack of all trades is a master of none. Hold on. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Yeah, because you can do a lot of other things. I
I'm gonna
feel
be honest.
like.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I feel like when you determine like what is great, right? It's a matter of exceeding your own expectations. So like that level of becoming great always progresses as you progress. So like I might be at this level today and I've exceeded my expectations, but that does being great doesn't mean you've mastered it. Like great is not mastery. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's kind of how like
Give
y'all
me a
get.
real world example of that though. Cause it sound good. I'm trying to figure how it's being great, not mastery. Like I don't see that in a real world example.
Okay, so okay, let me think of a work example, I guess. Maybe like a workout example. So like you've been in the gym, you're consistent, you've been working out great, you don't get as tired as you are, but what is mastery for you? Is mastery being able to do, like competitions? Like is that mastery? So it's always that's why I say greatness is subjective because whatever your mastery level is depends on how great you are.
So am I judging my mastery based off other people's mastery?
I said your
Well,
subjective.
I guess that's why I think it's different though. 'Cause I feel like I could be a great fisherman, but I'm not a
But
master
you haven't mastered it.
until I can beat the other greats. It that makes
Possibly.
sense. Like,
Yeah, possibly.
but that's in the
But
sense of competition
also
though. That's in
but
the sense of
also like
competition.
yeah, that's just in a sense of competition. But if you comparing um then like who is the top tier? That's why I say you have to exceed your own expectations. Because like I can know a lot about a topic, but I haven't mastered it until I know everything about the topic. I can answer any questions about the topic, and I can also apply it to the topic. Like to me, that's mastery. Like minimal expectations would be okay. I know I can figure it out. Like I can go in a room and I can figure something out. That's meeting the minimum requirements. I can be good at it where I don't need that much help on it. I'm pretty good. I'm proficient at it when I need very minimal help. I may ask one or two questions here and there, but if I mastered it, I'm the one people coming to ask for help for. Like I need little to no assistance on stuff.
I get it. I also just think like to me, like in that circumstance, like mastery
Like,
would
let me
be
say it this way. Sports, right?
it's
Oh,
competition.
it's competition,
Is
but
everything a competition?
I don't know. It depends on how you look at life. But
Go ahead.
like you can be like all the people that made it to the NBA, they're great, right? Because they've made it there. But to some people that might have been the mastery of it. But when you get in, you might have been great to get in the NBA. Okay, you made the status of great, right? But now, have you won a championship? Have you like it's still levels to after being great at something. Like we can all say that, Steph Curry and LeBron are great at what they do, but we determine the status of GOAT or mastery based on different levels within that greatness.
Yeah, so it's tiers.
Like
Deion
Steph
Sanders
has
said that a
mastered
while back.
shooting. Yeah.
Deion Sanders said that a while back. He was saying like the Hall of Fame should have halls. Like everybody in the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame
It's
ain't.
different levels. Yeah, like
Yeah,
when you put like granted, both LeBron and Steph are great, right? But if we talking about mastery, I wouldn't put LeBron in mastery of 3-point shooting. I would put Steph there for sure. But I also wouldn't put Steph in being able to drive the lane and nobody being able to stop him. I would put LeBron there. Like it's different. Like all this is great, right? But then mastering one specific task is different, which is why it's so hard to define. I think it's easy to find greatness. It's hard to define mastery.
so how can we master citizenship? Or not necessarily citizenship, but how can I master? Okay, how can I master being a person? Like I am a middle class 9 to 5 worker. How can I master that? Is my mastery, and I'm not talking about the work aspect of it, because who cares about that? You gonna have a job regardless, like whether you're good at it or not. So my thing is like, if my goal isn't to be necessarily a great worker, how can I master being a person, just a guy? How does mastery of like you like that's a great person, but how do you master
Like
being
what
a
makes
person?
them that?
What makes you a great
What makes
person,
them a great
and what
person?
makes you the master of being a great person?
I don't know if you can master. I think the only master of being a great person is Jesus. Because he's the only
Yeah,
one
how
that
did that vote?
oh, I know you finished change it. Don't change it. It's
God
unnecessary. I'm
damn
not
vote.
going that far into it.
Sister Jess. All right,
But
go ahead.
yeah, so I think, that's mastery as a person is like not happening. But we all can become great and good at certain aspects of being a person. But that whole rubric of what a great person is different for everybody. So it's just like once you figure out what a great person looks like to you and what that rubric is based on, like for us, I know our rubric is what we are expected of according to the word of God. So as a person, so that's our rubric. We can be great at something. I may be great at forgiving people, right? But I may only be good at not gossiping. Like it's like you're not gonna be great at everything. Like it's
Yeah.
always level of
Hey,
improvement. Like
that's
it's
a
that,
bar. That's a bar. I'm good. I'm good at being nice to people, but
yeah,
I'm great at sharing. Like I'll share, but I'm
yeah,
alright at being nice. Like hey,
yeah. Like I'm good at checking up on people, but I'm great at talking to kids one on one in person. Like I may not be the best person, like remembering what that kid did the last time to want to check up on it, remember that game and be like, hey, how did the score go? Asking their parent or something like that. But when I see them, I'm great at in person interaction. But that just means I probably need to work on my lack of connection when I'm not face to face with somebody.
So what drives you to want to work on something to become great at another thing? Like, so for instance, that same scenario, like I'm good at, for me, I just say me personally, like I feel like I'm good at being approachable, but I'm great at having conversations with people. Or for instance, or I don't know, that's probably a bad example. But like if I'm good, I'm good. Like I just say what you said. Like if I'm good at in person interactions, but I'm great at, I guess, meeting kids or whatever you said. Like what warrants me to want to be great at that? Because if I'm good, I'm good. Like that don't make me a
Yeah.
bad person just because I'm good. But what warrants you to get better? Like what indicators in your life would say I need to get better at this, even though I'm not bad at it?
I think it's like a two-folded thing. Like one, the desire and the passion towards something. Like if you really, really love working with kids, then you're gonna want to get better at working with kids. But if you can't stand nobody kids and don't like kids, you could care less about being better at it, right? Like it's a desire. Like you might not like kids, but you also don't want to be horrible with kids. You know, maybe you want to have kids one day of your own. So maybe that's the aspiration, but the levels of desire to be better is what's going to drive you to do better.
Okay, yeah, I like that answer. I mean, to me, I feel like sometimes like I'll be like, I'm all right at this, but I don't really desire to be great at it.
Yeah,
Like,
like I could be better, but I'm okay. Like
is it
the
a necessary attribute? You know, like for instance, like I feel like I'm good at talking to people, but I am not always the greatest. I don't always want to talk to people.
Yeah, I think it's like the that whole battle of like contentment versus complacency.
Mm.
You know, like am I being content with the opportunities I'm having to be better or to get better at something, or am I like overly complacent and not looking for the opportunity? Like I'm like, if the opportunity come, I'm gonna just be like, I'm good. I'll pass it this time, maybe next time.
Am I cheating
Yeah,
myself by not? I'm asking a question. Am I cheating myself by not wanting to improve on certain stuff?
I
Like
think you
if
can.
a person, like to me, it's my thing. Like everybody don't desire self improvement. So like, is that person cheating themselves? Are they robbing themselves of life? You know, like that's just a question I got.
I mean, I can't determine how much life they're gonna get if they try to be better or not, but if you don't want to be better, nobody gonna make you be better than you. Like, but you ultimately. I think that's a struggle within itself, right? Like the desire of being good or being a better version of yourself, not necessarily good. Like what is good, you know? A lot of good people still do bad things. So I think a lot of times like greatness is defined like good people are defined by their character and like everything that goes on, but great people are defined by moments.
Mm,
So like how impactful is your moment? And
yeah,
so like I think the desire to make each moment great is what makes you a better person. Like I'm a pretty good person, right? Like you could say I'm a pretty good person, but like what's that moment that's like, oh, that was a great person to be around? Like, did you comfort somebody when they were down? Did you, make somebody laugh when they were having a really tough time? Those great moments add up more in like your rapport with other people than just being a generally good person. Like it's a lot of generally good people I've met in my life that I don't remember, but the
mm-hmm.
great moments in my life I don't forget.
It remind me of the Air Jordan collection. It's called DMP. It's called Defining Moment Pack. It's like that. Like what you said made me thinking. Like the moments. So what made Jordan great wasn't the fact that he could jump higher than most people. It wasn't the fact that he could shoot better than most people. It was the fact when the moment counted.
He
He
made
ooh,
it.
it's a word in there somewhere. It's a word. I feel a word coming. Ooh is a word.
Yeah,
I feel like what we see a lot of times is people get to these situations where they have the opportunity. Because bro, situations come to you when I truly believe God only gives you so much of what you can handle, right? And
I mean
so
he says it.
He said it. So I feel like the situation presented to you to where you have the option to be great. That road splits where you can go left or right, or
Mhm.
or 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 just like a superhero movie. It's a point in the movie where
Yeah.
Batman, Flash, or Spider-Man has the option to choose good or evil,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's that whole thing I was talking about with content versus being complacent. Like, are you gonna to be content does not mean you're complacent, right? So like if you're content, you're happy with where you are, but that doesn't mean you want to retract. That doesn't mean you're scared to go be worse, but it also means you're willing to be better. So like you're happy with wherever you are in that moment. But to be complacent mean you only want to be in this spot. Like you
And the
don't want to
crazy
progress.
thing is, I have been in that situation before, and I personally remember the feeling like, dang, I should have did this.
Yeah.
Or like it's almost like an
I feel like
instant
everybody,
regret.
yeah,
It's an
has
instant regret,
experienced that.
or like when you do something good, it's like instant gratitude. Like I'll be
Yeah.
watching these videos on YouTube where these people are like, the guy comes and say, "Hey, can I get a couple dollars for gas?" And then the lady like, I ain't give you no gas. I get gas. Which, to her point, it may be true. She may not have money to get nobody else gas, right?
Yeah.
But then you turn around, he asks somebody else, and they give him the money for gas. He be like, "Oh, I'm just playing. Here's 100 grand. Oh, here go
Yeah,
ten
like
thousand.
what is it like it's some type of social experiment.
Yeah, and so and see moments like that, and it's like they pan the camera back to the person that said no, and it's instant regret. And I think of stuff
Yeah.
like that. Not saying I'm trying to be great so I can get 10 grand,
Right.
right? But
Because
I
they
guess
not
what I'm
expecting that when you saying like you don't really be
right.
expecting that. Like you gotta it show where your heart at. Like if you like in that same situation, right? Like if they pan back to that person and they don't feel no type of way, they probably really didn't have it. Like if you don't have no instant regret about it, you probably truly, you know,
Didn't have it.
wasn't capable of doing it. But if you got regret because you saw the reward that came out of somebody else gifting, then it's just like, oh, so you probably had it and you wish you would have did it so you could have been rewarded.
Right. And so I feel like what you said was key was the fact that it's the moments of greatness that define a person's greatness. I know that's a lot. The moments of
No, that
great
makes sense.
the moments of opportunity to be great defines the person's internal greatness. Like
Yeah.
you could be a you could be the best person on earth until it's time to be the best person on earth. Right?
Yeah,
Don't
and nobody
nobody
give you
like
credit for it.
as
Yeah,
much as
like
I
you could
love
be a good
LeBron
person up
James,
until this point, and then when the moment matters and you fail, that's the moment you remember it as.
and as
So
much as I love LeBron James, I have seen with my own eyes this man will go drop 50, but the game's still tight. And in the last 10 seconds, he passed the ball instead of shooting. People are on his head because
yeah,
in the moment, they don't care about the 50 you scored to get him here. They care about what you did in this moment to define your greatness. And no knock to him. I'm his biggest fan. So I wish you would talk about Bron.
LOL.
But what I am saying is though, that's one of the knocks that basketball aficionado and or Jordan lovers knock LeBron for is because in those defining moments, he
He
may
didn't
or
want.
may
It made
not
it
have
seem like he didn't
done.
want the ball. Like
He
he didn't
didn't
want the
want the ball. He
opportunity.
didn't seize the moment. Didn't seize the opportunity. And I feel like in life, we ain't on the court. I still could
Yeah,
get you, but
but see,
I ain't out there.
I can even still rebuttal this, right?
Mhm.
Because they saying like to the spectators, all right, like he wasn't defining his greatness, but unlike Jordan or Kobe, LeBron's version of a great player is not to be the biggest scorer, to be the most highlighted person on the team, is to be the best team player he can be, which means he's gonna dish out and
Sharing the moment.
he's gonna provide the best opportunity. He gonna provide the best opportunity for the best person in the moment.
All right.
So
So his
while we
his
look at it
definition
as
of greatness may not
it's
be your
different,
definition of greatness.
exactly. That's why it's so subjective because you may he'll probably do an interview or something about these moments when he retires or something, but like in those moments to him, that's defining greatness, so you never know. And it could be the complete opposite. Maybe he regrets it. And then we'll know whenever he does that interview. I'll
Yeah.
be watching.
Yeah, I'll be there soon then. Uh, but and I feel like in order for people to tap into their greatness, not necessarily sitting by being idle, waiting on that moment to happen, but continue to work on yourself being good. So when it's time to be great, you can seize the
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, because sometimes I know personally, like I like we were talking about this last night. I was like, I feel like sometimes as a man, I fail myself, and I fail those around me sometimes for not being the best Christian examples I could be, because there are opportunities that I don't seize just because either
Yeah.
lack thereof interest and or lack thereof knowledge to think I can seize them, and that's something I got to
Yeah.
work on. And I
Exactly.
feel like
I feel you.
I feel like in order for me to be great, um, I have to get better in them situations. Meaning I got to work on self first in order to be ready for when that time comes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I can talk.
yeah,
I would also even go as far to say that these great moments are the summation or the buildup of the confidence in the good that you have done. Like you're more like in the instance where you say like seizing those moments when given an opportunity to evangelize or something like that. Like you're more prone. It's not that the passion or the desire to do it is not there necessarily in some cases, but it's the confidence in the things that I've instilled, like God has instilled in us through like study and all of this. So it's like confidence of good helps you be great. Like, okay, I've built up the goodness inside me to be able to be confident in order to let the greatness speak through me. So that's just kind of how I interpreted that, because I know that's the thing for me. Like, it's not that I don't always want to say something, but if I don't feel, I'm less prone to talk about something if I'm not confident about my ability to talk about it, and not necessarily like the fact that I don't know anything about it, but I want to be able to confidently speak to you about what I know, but also be able to answer questions on the fly that you might ask that maybe I haven't prepared for, or maybe I haven't seen that scripture in a good amount of time, but being able to like bring that back up in the right moment. And that's just like allowing, the spirit to guide you and everything. But that also takes us putting in the work to make sure it's in us. Cause like the spirit will guide you in those moments. Like if you like they always say, whatever you feed is what comes out, right? Like the power is in the tongue, right? So whatever you feed in your spirit is what's gonna come out. So if you've been feeding your spirit, you've been studying, you've been acknowledging the truth and trying to really learn and connect the dots and understand what is being said, then when the time comes, when the moment comes, the greatness isn't from us, it's from God. And if we remember that, then it'll flow exactly how it should. And you can only do what you can do, right? We supposed to plant the seed, right? Not water it. That he provides the increase. So I think that's one of the things we got to remember too on that front.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think just to piggyback on what you're saying, like we gotta outside of being a Christian. I mean, I feel like it's in everything I do, but
Yeah.
just being a person in general, like some things I have to get better at in order to get back to the source, if that makes sense. So like I know what the source of greatness is. And I believe it's the Bible. I think it's God and Jesus Christ. I think that's the source of greatness, right? That's the
Right.
purest example we've had of a great human, right? I ain't talking about sports. I ain't talking about
Yeah.
as a
We
great
could say
human,
mastery. We can say mastery of a
mastery
human,
of being a
of a
human,
person,
right?
and being a human. Yeah.
So in order to get closer to the source, I ain't gonna ever be a master of being a human, but I can be as great as I can be. And the only way I
Yeah.
feel like I can be great as I can be is to get closer to the source of being a master. And so the
Right.
closer I can get nowadays is getting in the Bible. And that's kind of what you was picking. I'm just picking back up what you're saying. Um, so when you think about being a person in today's society, with everything being cancel culture, with everything being I call it hypersensitivity, just in my opinion. Uh, and things being shunned and or neglected to be spoke about, how does one navigate through everything you have to deal with anyway? Because it's society, you have to live in it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate through society while still being on your moral code of being a Christian? Or how do you stand on that, knowing I still have to be great at that in this society?
I'll say it this way: I can love and respect you and not agree with everything that you do. Right. Okay. So just because I love you as a person, that's what we're taught, to love everybody, to love our neighbors, right? That doesn't mean I agree with everything that you do. Neither does that mean you're going to agree with everything that I do, right? But if you have a moral code and moral backing, which we're referring to as the Bible for us, then stand on what you believe in. But I'm not going to treat nobody or anybody any differently. I'm going to be as respectful as I can at all times. I never want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. You can reasonably and respectfully tell somebody your position without making them feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't believe in that, but I'm gonna treat you. I won't treat you any different. Like, and I think people can. I feel like people can respect the fact that you're honest up front. That's one thing I can say about this generation, about the culture of what is forming behind our generation right now. Is like, okay, we know everybody don't agree with everything, but if you can be about what you about, like you can stand on what you about, you upfront about it, and you still treat me equal as a human being first, I can respect you. I feel like that is a general consensus within this generation. Like, we know that there's different types of people, different types of cultures, different types of backgrounds, beliefs. But if you stand on what you believe on, you upfront about it, but you still equally treat everybody with respect, then there's nothing, we can still communicate in a loving and understanding way. Like, it's no need to be aggressive, rude, disrespectful. Like, you can say exactly what you need at a reasonable tone, with reasonable language. Like, it's possible. It's just a matter of, do you want it to be possible? Do you want it to be done? And just controlling, and then from our perspective, controlling self is the most important part of it all. Just because I believe this is how I'm going to act, this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to stand on, some people may not respect it. And by all means, that's your business. But I can control your actions, but I can control my reactions to what you do or say to me. So I believe, and that goes even a longer way, in my opinion, because once you say his name, right, you're going to get tested. I mean, people are going to test you. They're going to see if you really about it, you know? And rightfully so, you know? Like, people are going to test you to see, like, if you really about what you say you about. And when you prove it, it's respected. So
J on my hat stand for Jackson and Jesus.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't know where this conversation is gonna lead us to, but I guess so. I'm a pivot, right? I'm a pivot. Okay. Nah, I ain't leaving because it's in everything, but I'm just gonna pivot, right? So let's say you take on the role of being a wife, right? You're now a wife, and the opportunity arises where you can be a great person, but your spouse may not agree to the opportunity being seized for you to be a great person. So, for instance, let's say this happens. Okay. Let's say, and this ain't happening to nobody I know of. You know, I'm just making this up. Let's say you're married. Mm-hmm. You have 5 kids, whatever.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I'm stacking the deck because it's gonna help what I'm finna say. You have 5 children, right? Mm-hmm. Biological children, no problem having kids, whatever. Let's say, Lord forbid, let's say it don't matter.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's say they in the house though. Let's say I have 3 children. Mm-hmm. Right? I pass away. Mm-hmm. My wife passes away. Mm-hmm. The opportunity is there for you to adopt your family to live in your household, but your husband disagrees with the fact that having 8 kids plus y'all 2. And I say all this just to say, how would that conversation go with somebody encroaching, or not necessarily encroaching, but trying to deflect the opportunity for you to be a great person? Because if your greatness led you to this opportunity, and you wanted to take this opportunity because you felt like it's needed to be done for one, and it's an opportunity for you to elevate yourself to be a great person. How would you seize that opportunity? How would you battle that conflict?
Okay. Technical difficulties. Oh. Okay, so he said, how would I approach the situation?
Mm-hmm.
I would want to know like why.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would ask the question like why not? Why and why not? Right? And then pondering the situation in reverse. And would the outcome be the same regardless? Like wanting to know if the roles were reversed,
The person.
would I be subject? Yes, to his lead.
Hold on.
If
Say
he
what?
said yes.
So if it was his family.
If it was his family and the roles were
Yes.
reversed and complete, and I'm as a Christian wife, I assume to be submissive to my husband, would he overpower me if I said no? That's a question that I would ask. Um, and then I think it will honestly depend on the responses to all of those questions of why and why not, and if the roles were reversed, how would this play out for us? For me to get a better view of how this could play out for my family, if I'm expected to not accept the opportunity, right?
I feel
And
like you should
then
accept the opportunity because my kids gonna be big. They're going to NFL. They'll pay for
okay,
everything when they get older.
settle in. Okay, this is hypothetical situations. But I would ask that, and then I would also lay out the pros and the cons, like future tense and current. Like because in a situation like this, especially if it's like sporadic or not foreseen, like no opportunity to plan for it, like weighing out the financial parts of it, like how can we get this to work out in the meantime if it's something like that, like is it a I think asking the question like is it a not now or is it a never is a good question to ask as well, because a not now may mean okay they need to stay with the grandparents for a year so we can get everything in line. That's understandable.
Yeah.
That means we're working towards the goal, right? But if
Mhm.
it's a never like, no, I don't want to because I don't want the kids in my house. Okay, but why? Remember we talked about the whole concept of principle over preference.
Mhm.
Is this principle or is this preference? Because if we have the means to do so and we have the space to do so, why not?
Okay.
But I'm gonna be headstrong about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. But nevertheless, hopefully I don't have no 5 kids. That's really the point right
Hopefully,
there.
this whole scenario never happens.
Yes, yes. Let's put that part first. I'm talking about kids.
uh, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to being great, and a lot of times when I look at great athletes, I look at them and I see them on the court, on the field, or at the table tennis, wherever, anywhere. I like when I see them in action. And when they do something good or when they achieve their goal, they relieve a sigh of emotion. They yell, they scream, they pound their chest, they jump for joy. That is from the work being put in. And kind of going back to what you were
Yeah,
saying, it's the relief of who I succeeded. All this hard work's paid off. And you see the opposite side. You ever heard the saying, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat? It's the same thing. So, like,
yeah,
if the opportunity comes and I don't try to become great and I don't succeed in I don't seize the opportunity and or succeed in that opportunity, the crying, the weeping, the regret, that's
yeah,
the instant regret that I was talking about. And I feel like sports in general kind of align with life a lot. I mean, you ache, you pain, you get hurt, you break stuff, you tear ligaments, stuff like that. You rehabilitate, you come back better, stronger, and faster.
right.
Uh, and that's life. You got ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and in order to be great, you got to see it through. And
Yeah,
that's just one of the principles that I just feel like that's one of the principles that God created, seeing it through. I mean, you look at Jesus. Jesus basically begged God to don't let him die.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was in the garden, like, and God was like, "I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow after you die. See it through, my boy." He ain't talk to him that night. look, you gotta see it through. Like, you done came all the way down. You done pissed off all these Romans. You finna have to take this, son. Alabala Sabakanai. What? I ain't trying to hear all that. You gonna have to see this through, son.
Like, I would even go as far to change the title to, instead of becoming great, to finding greatness, right? Like, oh my goodness. I feel like finding greatness itself is eliminating, like what you just talked about, eliminating the what ifs, right? Because if you get to a spot in the road, like, but what if I didn't? Right? You're eliminating also the rewards if you did. So if we're on a continual search to finding greatness, then we can alleviate those what if moments, those regretful moments. Because if you say what if to everything you're debating to, that means you chose something that was for your better, or like not necessarily for your better, because that doesn't mean every time you say what if and say yes, it's gonna be good. But at least you won't regret it, and it's gonna build your character and like who you are as a person.
That's exactly right. I couldn't agree more with you. Now you putting down words. I feel like finding greatness. It's just like anything else. You got to work for it. I mean, and like when you're at the Easter egg hunt, if it's a real one, not them little kitty ones where they lay the eggs out, just obvious. You got to step
they
on
just
them.
be sitting there.
Yeah, but when like you have to go search. So searching for greatness is putting in the work, reading your Bible, getting in your word, and or if it's something else, working out hard. If it's learning new skills, studying, researching. I mean, it's greatness. Greatness personified is the act of changing myself into the greatest form of myself, and I feel like that's what greatness personified means. And I feel like there are people that we see that we like, oh, that person's great. That's a great person, and or that person's great at that.
And this is
but
all like level based, right?
But even those people, like, I'm great compared to you.
Yeah,
but I ain't
it's
great
very much
to me.
stage based. Like we can say LeBron in Miami, great.
Right.
It was great for them. LeBron back with the Cavs against the Warriors, great. Like he got better. I think LeBron against them was greater than LeBron Miami. The stakes were higher. I mean, you talking about
higher.
Dog
Cleveland,
versus
no championship.
dog.
Cleveland, no championship. Greatest
Cleveland,
team
no
ever.
championship. Really, no help. You going against the best team in the world. They
73-9.
That's greatness, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like then LeBron in the bubble, all odds against him. Greatness. Like it's like each stage is different. So like
levels to
is one level of greatness better than the next? Not necessarily.
What
but
did the pastor Meek of Mills say? What did the pastor Meek of Mills say? Little Bama, we don't write the same clothes. But it's levels to this stuff.
Never got that
it's
right.
Levels to this. It's levels. You gotta stack levels, bro. You can't skip no level. That's the thing about levels. If you try to skip it, you're gonna fall. Don't skip it.
Yeah.
Walk through it. And I feel like the journey to the
That's
greatness.
What's so crazy. I swear this stuff really be so full circle because like just in church Sunday we was talking about Joseph and like kind of.
And Joseph was who? Joseph was the greatest stepdaddy of all time.
Okay. He was. I forgot what I was
finna He was the stepdaddy of Jesus. He was the greatest stepdaddy ever.
Not that Joseph.
Oh, you talking about the other Joseph.
Is that Jacob? I'm thinking you getting my names mixed up. It was a J though. No, Jacob was the daddy, right? Or is Joseph the daddy? Coat of many colors, that's Joseph. That's Jacob. It's a J. You got me confused. Come on, answer the question so I can get into what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Which is the right answer?
I'm gonna watch you go down this cliff.
Well, no. See, this is the moment for you to have greatness, and you just want me to fail. That's crazy. I'm gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure it's Jacob, though.
It is Jacob.
Okay. Anyway, So Joseph was his daddy, right?
I'm sitting there thinking about during Jesus Joseph.
I was like, when you start saying, I was like, that ain't who I'm talking about. Anyway,
I think that's Jacob. Now you got me questioning.
It's the coat of many colors. Yeah, it's Jacob.
I know.
Wait, no, that's Jacob and Esau.
We gonna find stupid.
It's okay. Like, I know the story. It's Joseph.
It is Joseph.
And Jacob was his daddy. So I had the right names. I was just missing the names up. So
you need
get
to
off
put
my back.
Joseph of
I said Joseph at first, and then you confused me with saying Jesus stepdaddy.
Well, I thought you were talking about that Joseph.
And then I said not that Joseph, and then you started to confuse me. Anyway, so we was talking about the story of Joseph, right? And we were trying to what?
Like
that ain't even related whatsoever. So we were talking about Joseph and his life and everything, and like we kind of broke it down into the 4 stages, and trying to figure out which I must kind of spin it, but we were trying to figure out which was the hardest season in his life, you know, because you have one where he's in the bottom of the pit because his brothers put him in the bottom of the pit. They out there sitting lunch before they selling him off to slavery. Then 2, he's in Potiphar's house and his wife come on to him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then 3, he's now back in the dungeon because she lied and said he was trying to take over her, right? And then 4, we got him back into Pharaoh's house, and now he's the governor, right? So which one of these is the hardest situation for him?
The dungeon.
You really think the dungeon?
It was hot.
He was a ruler over everything in the dungeon. Like the warden gave him control over everything, and everything that he had control over.
The hardest thing probably
wasn't about it.
Because Potiphar's wife probably was bad. That probably was the hardest thing.
We brought that up in church. She was like, she probably was a very attractive woman because she was the wife of, like, you know, a very
army general, basically.
Yeah, so like, you know, she probably looks very well. But, you know, just breaking it down, like if you think about in the pit, this is he been in the house doing basic chores.
The pit's tough.
Yeah, he been doing basic chores. Then he come out to tell his brother something about a story, and they like, man, what? And they get mad. They kick him in there. You know, like this is a mental strain because, like, bro, I can't wait to tell Daddy what y'all did to me. Like, I can't wait to get y'all back. Like, that's a mental strain. Like, that's to wish, you know, harm on somebody. Like, that's hard. Like, how to overcome that. Then you got in the house, he probably a young man at this point, this good-looking woman coming after you. You can't leave because you under his control, right? Because you technically still are a slave. You can't tell nobody because won't nobody believe you because she's his wife. What do? Every time she come around you running, and then she go and lie on you. Then you in the dungeon. Now you back in the pit. You was down, you came up, now you back down in it, right? And you got free range, kind of, sort of, but you're still in prison. Then you help these 2 guys out, the baker and the other guy, and they forget about you when they go back. Or the one dude, the one of them died. The other one, he forget about you, and now you in here for another 3 years just about. And then he finally remember you. Now you back up at the top. But you know what they go and do? This old Hebrew boy, they give him a pagan wife, a son. They clothe him in jewelry at the point where his family don't even recognize him when the famine comes. How do you continue to find greatness? How do you continue to find self in those moments? Like, he's had the option now to choose going away from God's will and then continuing on God's path. Like, this man becomes the great, you know, in the genealogy of Christ. Like, he's his brother, but he's still his uncle, his great uncle, basically, because his brother is the line that it comes out of. But like, that's a lot of great moments, like possibility of moments, right? And he had to be great at each one of these to get to where he was. And even then, at his top, at the very top one, he was still miserable.
So what was the answer?
That's crazy. Oh, nobody could agree. It was just more like a outward topic. A lot of people agreed that the 4th, like him being at the very top, was the hardest because, like, when you're in the bottom, is nowhere to go but up. But he has all power. Like, people shouted his name in the streets, and he's basically a full-blown celebrity. He has all the money, all the clothes, everything you could wish for. But he's still not happy. He don't have no family. He's still a foreigner in a foreign land. So and still trying to do right by God. Like, just think of the world we live in. Like, there's so much stuff going on. You still trying to be a Christian amongst it all. Like, it gets really, really tough. So
I ain't thinking about that. It wasn't I always thought of his story as a triumph story. Like, at the end, he was just the greatest.
No, but he was miserable.
He was miserable.
He like, the name of his first child was like the it's in the Bible. So
pretty sure.
Don't want to misquote it. But basically it's got something in relation to, like, it's a Hebrew name for one. And then the meaning of it is relating to, like, he's still in a sad place. Like, he's still not home. Like, even though he's been here for over most of his life.
I think of home, I think of a place where there's love and affection.
And now, since me and Illy got our Jacobs and Josephs settled out, I hope that story made sense.
I had fun tonight. What you think? You had a good time with a good discussion?
I hope the listeners we have enjoyed.
I hope y'all enjoy. And if you have, guys, make sure you let us know down below. Just if you got anything else, because I think that's where we dropped the mic. The Sister Jess, man, she broke down that word.
Well, it was helpful for my church family because they be breaking it down for me.
You feel me?
But
so you got anything else to leave with the people? Any parting words?
I'm finna go eat these noodles in General So. You did? Yeah.
Yeah, feel me. All right, guys, man, it's been another special rendition of the goddamn Mama He Did It. I am poet case. And we hope y'all have a great rest of the week. Thank y'all for stopping by.
Be great.
Other things down below, like, comment, share, subscribe, give us 5 stars. Follow us everywhere, man. Dang,
yeah.
We running it up.
And remember, guys, every day isn't a good day, but there's good in every day. And it starts with you being able to wake up in the morning. Praise him, praise him.
Praise him, Jesus. My heavenly Redeemer. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all so much. We'll see y'all at the revival. Peace.
Peace.